by humans and robots.
Welcome to Deep Thoughts. In this episode, we are exploring some very significant topics, some very challenging aspects about technology, robotics, where the future is potentially going, why we're here doing what we're doing. And what we're going to do is utilize Simon Sinek's approach with a slight augmentation. Simon Sinek had one of the most popular TED Talks ever, and it really explores with this bullseye concept to start with the why. And the why is at the center. You have to be able to answer why you're doing something and why people should care at first. The very first thing you need to do. And then from there is the how and the what. The one modification that we would recommend for that model is included in the why is to understand clearly who is being impacted. So we call it Wahoo. And the idea, though, is we want to go through these things here in this series following this same model. We'll start with the why and who is important, and then we'll work our way to how these robots, the gita robots, support the community and stakeholders, and then we'll go into some of the what. In a previous episode, we talked with founder Greg Lynn of Piaggio Fast Forward, the creator of the gita robot. So we had some really interesting insights from his perspective on the creation of the product and what motivated the Piaggio group in Italy to create this new market, to pursue this new market in the United States with Piaggio Fast Forward. And with that, we're going to go through a series of questions and make this hopefully a little bit fun.
Why do robots exist?
Because they provide value to at least one stakeholder. And in many times, you'll find there's multiple groups of stakeholders that receive that value. Everyone from the producers, the users, the people that are selling, the people that are buying. There's a lot of additional value add to the entire value chain. The other part about the robots and the value that they produce is really important, that they're just technology. Well, not just technology, because it's pretty amazing, but it's often a collection of technologies also. But like any technology, robotics are a tool. Robots are a tool. And like any tool, it will help you achieve a desired outcome if it's employed properly. One of the things that we want to make sure is that technology isn't blindly accepted. Technology is an enabler, is a core principle that we look at in our projects, in our approach to innovation. And when we allow technology to become a crutch or an excuse or even a scapegoat from dealing with the more significant challenges or holes that are existing in a given opportunity, we sugarcoat over or cover up the foundational issues and let technology just be an excuse. And we want to try to avoid that whenever possible.
So is there the potential that people will lose jobs to robots? Absolutely. Will this happen? For sure. But are those jobs that are being replaced by robots jobs that are unique and honor the core value of humans? Or are they tasks that humans have been relegated to performing just because they needed to get done? Not every job honors the full humanity of people. And we allow the robots, the computers, and the machines to work on things that don't honor those unique qualities of the human.
And there's another important relationship to explore, and that is between the principle of lean, the idea of waste, and ultimately human potential. Traditionally, there's been 7 forms of waste: defects, overproduction, waiting, transportation, inventory, motion, extra processing. And the last one is the waste of human potential. This is the most recent add to the lean approach, and perhaps the most significant. We don't want to see human potential wasted on doing a task or a job in which a machine, computer, or robot could be doing more effectively. And not because we don't want that person to have a high-paying job or a great livelihood, but because we want that person to have those things and be celebrated for the unique qualities of being a human.
There's a lot of nuance that has to be explored and understood, but ultimately, we want that waste of human potential to go to zero. We want humans to be fully productive and honored as humans.
Will robots, computers, and machines take over the world?
Well, I'm certainly not going to predict the future and say that it can't happen. And there are very, very smart people out there, such as Ray Kurzweil, that have theorized that there'll be a point in time in the future, the point of singularity, at which technology that we've created as humans surpasses our own capabilities or our ability to manage that technology. And that is seen as irreversible and kind of no going back from that point. Now, there's debate whether or not that will happen, and there's lots of debate as to when that point might be. But there is the potential for that future to exist. And there's a responsibility for all of us that work with technology, that create new technology, that utilize technology, to be very much aware of those scenarios and the implications that it could have on humanity. So, good luck with that one.
Why are they in our community?
The gita robots are here to help explore a bunch of different use cases in the homes, for residents, with businesses, city government even, just to figure out if there's a way to develop compelling value in each of those scenarios. There's also Ontario as a city has been very technology forward leaning, and they're seen as a regional leader in smart city adoption, in providing fiber optic broadband access. And these types of technologies didn't just appear overnight. They were developed and tested and scaled appropriately. And so being able to test these types of robotic platforms in the real world to make decisions on how they can be used and supported throughout the community in an even grander or more compelling way is, a major reason why the robots are here in the city.
How can these robots help us?
Traditionally, robots have been used for the 5 Ds: dirty, dull, dangerous, domestic, and dexterous. And most of these efforts were to pursue the displacement of human workers. The gita robot featured in this series is pushing back on this convention to provide a thoughtful product that is the extension of the human. and is not trying to replace the human. And while PFF did not invent this construct, they're very deliberately pursuing this future. The gita robots in particular are designed to be an extension of your own capabilities. And really what they do is they carry things for you and they follow you around. And they do that in a very simple and straightforward way. For some people, this is a modern convenience. But for others, this is really a life-changing extension. And, some examples are for an overburdened parent that is trying to take their kids to the park or have a picnic so that they can focus on keep their hands free to hold the hands of their children while the picnic supplies or the ball and the baseball mitt or the softball mitt are in the back in the robot just following along. Those are very everyday pieces of value that the robot can bring. There's also a really interesting case that we just stumbled upon. There was a gentleman who was donating some books. His name is Saul. He was donating some books at the Ovid Library, the main library for the city here in downtown Ontario. And he's in a wheelchair holding this box of books to donate. And he didn't have anyone to help him, had no assistance, and the box of books are just kind of precariously positioned on his lap. And so we asked him if he would mind trying the robot out, and we immediately paired it to his wheelchair. As he went away pretty fast. So the first time it separated from the robot, but then got him to slow down his acceleration a little bit. And it followed him all the way back to the senior living community that he lives in. And then we had this great conversation about how this technology could support him and others that live in the community. And we also talked about some of the limitations of the technology. That's really part of what we're trying to do is see where this technology really can help and not just make it be a solution for everybody. And that was a really powerful example of how this product, the gita robot, can help the community in a very tangible way.
How do you use it?
Well, the robot is very simple to use. If you go back to episode 3, when we talked with Greg Lynn, the founder and CEO, one of the founders, the creator of Gita and the CEO of Piaggio Fast Forward, he said how much time they put into the design to make sure that it was really easy to use and that it could be used efficiently and effectively for the types of scenarios that it was primarily designed for. And in this case, there is no additional app that's required to use it. There is an app that you can use to add additional functionality. You can listen to music on a Bluetooth speaker built into the robot. Just stream your Spotify or whatever you want. It also has some ability to modify some of the settings, but you don't need any of that in order to use the core functionality of the robot. The ability to just walk up to the robot, press 2 buttons with your finger or your thumb. I don't know why, I always use my thumb. And then it pairs to you, you turn around and start walking, and it follows you. It's super simple, and that is a really a testament to the company, I think, for trying to make it that simple. Very easily could have had to pair to your phone or a separate device, but they've overcome those needs to produce a very straightforward product.
How can I try it?
Well, we've got the robots here in Ontario, so there's going to be lots of places to try it. The primary way, if you're really interested in trying this out, come to our space, 4th Sector, Ontario, at 404 North Euclid Avenue in historic downtown Ontario. We'll show you around, we'll let you use it, and you can see it and use it firsthand. The other way is that we are going to be out shooting footage, testing use cases, and so if you see us out in the community, please don't hesitate to come and ask us to try it. Like we said on the previous question of how do you use it, it's super easy to use. So anyone can just walk up, we can pair, and then you can try it out. And then the last thing is that we're going to be doing a lot of work down in Ontario Ranch in the coming weeks and months, actually. And we're working with Brookfield Residential, who is responsible for the New Haven community. We're working with their HOA. So that we're going to do an Adopt a Robot program. Residents are going to be having these robots in their everyday lives for a defined period of time. We're going to have events down in Ontario Ranch. So we're really looking forward to exploring these use cases in a very real way. And again, that's part of the value of this program.
A future in which humanity is pushed to uphold its unique place on Earth. A humanity in which every single person is given the full potential to be their best. This is a future that unimaginable outcomes of progress can result.
This is a future.
It is also important to talk about the role of perspective and nuance. For decades, there's been a widespread fear that robots, and more broadly, automation, computers, and other machines are going to steal jobs from people. We have also seen the dystopian future depicted in movies like the Terminator series. The reality is that most innovation's history is defined by incremental steps, and that technology correspondingly evolves over time. Very rarely are there magnificent jumps from one place to another without some extraordinary linkages back to the past.
This is a